Fontan patients, or patients who are born with one functional ventricle, that group of patients is growing because we are using the Fontan type palliation in a growing number of individuals.
A Fontan is the third stage of palliation for a hypoplastic left heart syndrome patient or any single ventricle patient, and those patients live through their life with one ventricle.
Fontan patients, we know from the outset that this is not a circulation that is going to carry somebody to 80 years of life. I think in the best case scenarios, it carries people in a relatively healthy state to around 25 or 30, but by that time, in general, they are developing significant symptoms of heart failure.
It is very fortunate that we have now created a series of operations to allow children who are only really born with one side of their heart to continue to live outside of infancy. And even though we celebrate now these children are not infants, dying when you're 20, that's not acceptable to us. So how to get them to that next phase?
For this group of patients, I think it's essential that from the time that they're children, and it's identified that they are going to enter a single ventricle pathway, that it be reinforced to the parents, and then once the child is old enough to understand, to the child, that there are other operations that are coming in the future and that this is not a catastrophic endpoint.
I didn't think I felt sick because it's just how I felt, but as I look back, I would run out of breath easily walking upstairs. I just thought that was normal, but now it's not.
So when Brooklyn was born, she was born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome.
And I had 3 surgeries, one when I was 6 days old, and then around 6 months, and then around 5 years old. I would come and see the doctor every 6 months, but like when I was younger, I would play sports and I just lived my life normally then. It was just slowly failing as I was growing and my heart wasn't growing.
So in December of 18, she had a routine cath, and that's when it was found that her pressures were really high and it was affecting her liver and her kidneys at the time. And they decided that implanting the VAD would be her bridge to transplant, and it would help her kidneys and her liver get better on their own.
It was very scary to find that news. I think it was a lot harder for them than it really was for me. I don't really know. They didn't really talk to me about it. They just kind of kept it to themselves.
You know, there were some nights where my husband and I would just cry in the back of her room, but she would never see us because you always want to be strong for your child. But the moment you see your kid break down and cry, then, you know, that's pretty hard.
Since it's early, it's still like some things I can't do, but like a lot more things that I couldn't do, I can do now.
She never one time was poor, pitiful me, and she still graduated with A's and B's from school because she was tutored. She had her mind, you know, set, and she knew what she wanted, and so we just supported her in every way that we could.
I'm just like a go with the flow kind of person. I've always been like that. Everybody tells me I'm like that. I just looked at it as like, I have to do it. I'll just get through it. And then here I am today, and it's all like positive, and I'm glad all that had to happen to be healthy and normal.
This is a part of the Fontan experience, that you're going to go through life, you're going to have these staged palliations, you're going to have a single ventricle Fontan palliated circulation for a period of time, and that transplant is just the next stage in your life. It's not a bad event, it's not a failure, and it's not something to be feared. It's just a part of your existence.
Almost all of the major pediatric centers who deal with the failing Fontan circulation, because of ACTION, have come together and have started really making progress. And again, I bring it back to collaboration. Collaboration is what will make the best results for our patients.